Hey, this is Evan. For this week's discussion, I wanted to relate my own experience to Chapter 8, where they talk about the process of addiction and the different stages. So, I myself am a person in long term recovery. I've been abstinent from all drugs and alcohol for over 6 years now. And I've worked in the treatment industry for about going on 4 years. So the process of addiction that was outlined in the book was 6 different stages, and I was going to go over those stages and relate my own experience to them. So the first one is experimentation. I relate to that when I was probably like a freshman in high school, and I knew that there were people smoking pot, drinking, and it seemed to kind of appeal to me. It seemed like these people were having fun and maybe a little more socially freed, and I was kind of open-minded to trying that kind of stuff. So I did, and was able to do it here and there with no real kinds of consequences or anything like that. I still had other passions that took priority. I was into skateboarding and music and stuff like that. The second stage is escalation. So a couple years after my first experimentation with drugs and alcohol, I started using different drugs and drinking more frequently, where it was like, it wasn't yet like an everyday thing, but definitely like an every week thing, multiple times a week. And I was able to maintain, I got decent grades in high school and always held a part-time job. So I didn't really see any kind of like negative consequences of my use. The next stage is maintaining. So yeah, I guess throughout high school and when I had first gone to college, which was like 20 years ago, my use got heavier, but I guess I liked the way I felt, when I used better than when I didn't. So yeah, I would just make sure that I was able to get high or to drink like frequently, because I enjoyed the effects of it. The fourth stage is dysfunction. So I tragically lost my sister in 2011, and that's when my drinking and my drug use got very dysfunctional. I guess I didn't really have healthy coping mechanisms to deal with such loss and grief, so I just went heavier into drinking, into drugs, and started using harder drugs, and yeah, it started having some very bad consequences, where like I couldn't hold a job. I was spending all my money on getting high. Like, it was hard for me to maintain healthy relationships. And eventually, like as the years went by, like I got deeper into my addiction and just wanted to escape from life altogether. But I guess I still had some sort of hope that there was a better way for me to live. And eventually I got to stage 5, which was recovery. And I got to a point where basically I was physically, mentally, spiritually just beaten up enough to be willing to want to change, but to ask for help. Because before, I never wanted to ask anyone for help about my issues. I thought that maybe I'd be able to fix myself, but that wasn't the case. So I just started taking suggestions and started living a different way of life, and started going to meetings where there was other people that I could relate with and share my experience, and basically taking these suggestions and having kind of a spiritual program of action in my life. Eventually, over time, the desire that I had, to drink or to do drugs went away. And that was a desire that I'd had for a long time. But luckily, thanks to the program that I was working, and just trying to put in work every day on myself to be a better person, and practicing mindfulness and meditation and, prayer, trying to be a service to other people, it really changed my life for the better. And I just have a lot more freedom and happiness and joy, without drugs or alcohol today. And so the sixth stage of the process of addiction, the book refers to as ex-addict, which for me, I still view myself as an addict. I think it's important that I do, because I think that if I'm I'm not an addict anymore, or that I'm cured. I could be on a slippery slope for thinking that I don't need to do what keeps me sober. So, I'm not in active addiction anymore, and I haven't experienced those struggles in quite some time. But I think it is important for me to remember that my brain, the way I'm wired, I am an addict. I always will be, but I just have to take certain actions to maintain a healthy and happy lifestyle. So that was my experience. Thank you.